Let's talk about the 3-pound universe sitting right inside your skull. I mean, think about it. It creates your memories, your dreams, it constructs your entire reality. And for all of its incredible power, it is still so profoundly mysterious.
So, let's start with a question that honestly stumps even the top neuroscientists. You see, your brain has different areas for vision, for hearing, for touch. They're all separate. So how on earth does it manage to stitch all of that raw data together into the single, seamless reality you experience every moment? Well, the answer is a whole lot stranger than you might think.
Okay, before we dive into the really mind-bending stuff, let's just ground ourselves in the physical world for a second. What actually is this thing in our heads? You're not going to believe this, but the master architect of your entire consciousness, well, it has the physical texture of a block of tofu. Seriously, it's soft, it's delicate, it's kind of jiggly. It seems almost comically simple for what has to be the most complex machine in the known universe.
But don't let that squishy texture fool you. This is not some random lump of goo. It's an incredibly organized map. You know, the folds and grooves you see are so consistent from person to person that they actually have names. Each region has its own dedicated job. Vision is processed in the back, hearing on the sides. It is so precise that a neurosurgeon knows the exact spot to stimulate to make the opposite side of your face twitch.
And the information in there doesn't just bounce around randomly either. Nope. Signals travel on these dedicated neural highways, each with a very clear origin and a very clear destination. It's just a masterpiece of biological engineering.
Okay, so the brain is an organized physical object. Simple enough, right? Well, here is where reality starts to get a little bit weird. Let's talk about time.
Imagine for a second that you tap your forehead and your big toe at the exact same time. Now, the nerve signal from your forehead has a really short, easy trip up to your brain. But the signal from your toe, it has to travel all the way up your leg, up your torso. It is a much, much longer journey.
So, logically, you'd think the forehead signal would get there first. So why is it that you feel both of those touches at the exact same instant? How is that even possible if the raw data is arriving at two completely different times?
Well, here's the solution, and it's wild. Your brain essentially hits a tiny pause button. It actually waits for all the related signals to show up, and only then does it bundle them all together to present you with what you perceive as a single moment.
And this leads to a really profound and kind of inescapable conclusion. Because your brain has to wait for all the data to come in before it can construct the now. Your conscious experience isn't actually of the present moment. You are always, ever so slightly, living in the past.
So, if we're all living with this built-in time lag, that creates a pretty major problem for, surviving in the real world. So how does the brain pull off its most incredible magic trick of all? I mean, this is the critical issue, right? If your perception is based on data that's already old news, trying to react to a 90-mile-an-hour fastball would be impossible. By the time you consciously saw the ball, it would already be in the catcher's mitt. So how in the world do we do it?
Your brain is a prediction machine. That's the secret. Instead of just passively waiting for information to trickle in, it's constantly running a simulation, using all your past experience to guess what's going to happen next. It completely compensates for the delay by basically living in the immediate future. So how does it build this incredible predictive model? Well, we're all born with this dense collection of cells called gray matter. And as we experience the world, our brain starts forming connections between them. The connections we use a lot become super fast, efficient highways. That's white matter. And the ones we don't use, they get pruned away. Our brain is literally sculpted by our experience.
You know, the best way to really understand this predictive system is to see what happens when it gets things wrong. These little glitches, these illusions, they reveal the hidden rules your brain is using all the time, without you even realizing it.
All right, take a look at these two circles. Just go with your gut instinct here. Which one seems to be popping out at you, and which one looks like it's an indent pushed in?
Chances are you see the first one, A, as popping out. Why? Because your brain has a hardwired rule based on a lifetime of experience. Light always comes from above. So when the highlight is on top, your brain predicts a bump. When the highlight's on the bottom, it predicts a dent. You don't decide this. Your predictive model does it for you automatically.
Let's look at another famous example of our brains filtering reality. In this classic experiment, people are asked to watch a video and focus on a single task. Count how many times the players in white shirts pass the basketball. It takes a lot of concentration. But while they're busy counting, something, a little unexpected happens. Get this, more than half of the people who do this test, who are so focused on counting the passes, completely fail to see the person in the gorilla suit. They are in total disbelief when they're told it was there. They simply never saw it.
We don't experience the world as it truly is, we experience the world our brain predicts is important for us to see. By focusing so hard on counting, the brand decided that a gorilla was not important data, and so, for all intents and purposes, it became invisible.
This prediction machine of ours is absolutely incredible. But just like any high-performance engine, it requires some serious maintenance. So let's talk about the single most important thing you can do to keep it running smoothly.
See, as your brain works hard all day, it produces waste, a kind of cellular exhaust made of misfolded proteins. And this junk can build up, become toxic, and over time it's been linked to diseases like Alzheimer's.
But luckily, your brain has this brilliant cleaning system. The catch? It only runs at night. When you're in a deep sleep, your brain's cleaning crew gets to work, flushing out all that toxic junk. This isn't a luxury, it is a critical biological function. If you take just one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this: getting 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep is the single best thing you can do for your brain's long-term health.
And all of this brings us to a final, really fascinating thought. We've seen that your brain is not some passive window looking out at the world. It is an active creator of your world. It takes all your past experiences, builds a model, and makes constant predictions that literally become your reality. Which leaves us with a truly mind-bending question to ponder. How much of your life are you truly seeing as it is, and how much of it is just a reflection of what you've already seen before?